6/8 out of 8.
But Candace and Paula.
So we know
I
definitely.
don't know. We'll just go fast.
Yeah.
Oh, Paula's here. Yes.
Couple of
Okay, now wait a minute. Now what do I do?
Just close.
And then close this one.
So if I know,
Oh,
and she say,
okay.
20.
Who's talking? Because I can hear a lot of
Hi,
background
Laura. Hi,
talking.
Sarah. Hi,
It's
Teresa.
we're
Paula.
yakking. It's us talking.
No. It's a man's voice. I
Oh.
didn't know if we had somebody else.
All right.
No,
Okay.
for
Hi,
sure.
guys. Our meeting has started and someone just said, I hear a man.
Thank you, Laura.
Hi there.
Laura, I intended to text you, and I thought I did, to say I could not physically be there tonight, but I would join on Zoom.
Yeah, you might have. Here. Just for everyone's edification, if you can see my little teeny phone.
Ah,
So it doesn't give me constant notifications on texts. I'll hear a bing if I happen to be exactly there.
listening.
Otherwise, not so
Okay.
much. Not
Okay.
so much.
Okay.
But what I was going to say is I already sent out one email to the board. And now,
Sarah, and then,
go ahead. I was going to say,
I
not
didn't hear
really
you sent one email to the board.
about Saturday and have one response, but now Mama President needs to send another email to the board and say, hey, we need to show up on Saturday. Because,
What is Saturday?
oh my gosh.
Come on, Paula. Saturday is the Bonk meeting with Joy Atkinson.
Joyce meeting. Yeah, okay.
Right, but it's
I
South
have
LA's
that.
meeting. Yeah, so I had sent an email to everybody with the agenda. I've posted the agenda. I've done all the bureaucratic things for us. But right now we only have one RSVP, and I'm going to drag my sorry you know what down there too. But so I don't think we
But
need
wait, is it,
those.
I'd have to go back through my emails. Oh, God. So the bunk meeting is this Saturday, which is the
24.
what time is
It's
it?
the one you emailed about last week, Paula.
And then I
Yeah, but I
emailed.
don't have it in front of me. So I'm trying to get the
Oh, okay.
information because I'm leaving town on the 24th.
It's at 9 a.m. 9 to
Okay,
noon.
so
And I was
I'm
going to
not
say,
leaving that early.
I sent an email to everybody. I'm just saying they need to hear from a different person. Mama President.
Okay.
As you know what I mean? I've already done the first email.
Let me
And
see if I can find it real quick. Okay.
and
I got an email from Paula about it. Was that just to the exec committee last week?
now Paula had sent one a week ago, but didn't say, hey, rah, 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 everyone should go. And then I sent an email that said, hey, everyone should go. We need to show up in force, but let's RSVP, please. So we can tell them if we need one table or two, because,
Yeah.
we
The
have,
planning
Yeah.
meeting, the planning meeting.
well, it's not a planning meeting anymore. It's the real town hall.
Yeah, I wish there'd been more notice. I'm supposed to have family coming to town, although if I'm sick, they're not coming, obviously. So I don't know
And if
yet
you're
if I'm gonna
sick,
be there
you're
or
not
not.
going
but
there either.
Obviously not. No.
Right.
No.
Don't come near me.
Oh, remember, I live with someone who's
2-5 was the
immunocompromised.
planning
We don't mess
meeting.
around with it.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Is it
Sarah.
just a cold, Sarah, or what's going on?
I mean, yeah, I feel like I had a couple weeks ago, I was like, oh, I'm having allergy attacks, all the rain, mold and stuff,
Right.
and everything's starting to grow. And then I haven't had a lot of coughing or anything, but it's like my whole head is just heavy. And I just, so it feels like it's just a bad cold. Like I've just kind of ignored it and now it's going to kick me.
Okay, yeah, Paula, I'm just forwarding to you right now the email I sent to the whole board. So
Okay,
they
yeah,
see it, but I sent mine on the 18th. So that's really later. You had sent one earlier, but I'm saying we only have one board member only has emailed me back. So unless anyone's emailed you to say I'm going,
no,
we don't have a good, show up. And I know it's going to be boring, but I'm not telling the rest of the board that, because it would be less boring if we have a group of us there, where we can make snide remarks quietly while it's so boring. Just
yeah.
saying.
No, I keep looking at Zoom meeting 2.5. So I've got Crenshaw Christian Center on the 24th. This is what we're talking about.
Right. That's what we're talking about. That's what we're talking about before we convene this meeting officially and call it to order, but it is 7:05, so we should probably call it to order.
And Candace texted me that she would be about 15 minutes late, but she is coming.
Okay. Well, let me see what I can do to be good at sharing the screen.
I'm gonna have to open it first.
It is. So, I'm canceling this and going back. I do have this. Oh, that's why. Nope.
Uh-oh. How
Nope.
come I can't find you? Where are you?
Well, more to the point, how come I can't find the agenda even
There.
though
Okay.
it's open?
Did you download it? Well, it's right there. Go to the next.
This
This is
is
a drive.
it's in the drive. Oh, I got it. Ha, ha, ha. There you go. Okay.
Let me see for my trip. When am I leaving?
Hey, can you guys see the agenda?
Yeah.
Sarah, okay, thanks.
There we go. Okay, so the meeting of the UNNC Executive Committee is officially called to order, even though we've been recording for a little while. Welcome, call to order. We're going to review the agenda right this sec. And that the agenda is really basic. Secretary's report, which is the minutes, a treasurer's report, which we might have to flip some order, a vice president's report, where I'm pretty much unprepared to update it from the board meeting, unfortunately, and Paulo, president's report from you if you have anything to share, and then the rest of the meat of the meeting. Oops.
Bylaws. Oh, there, SB 411.
Well, we had at the board meeting,
Yeah.
voted only to support the idea, but to have a discussion for board members to attend this meeting, so we can have an open.
Violate the Brown Act. So.
Right, so we could, but they are not here.
Right, so.
And because we still actually have to adopt an actual resolution. And then further discussion about some specific bylaw amendments, agenda items for the next governing board meeting, committee reports, probably not, since their committee chairs are not here except for me, and old business. So that is our agenda.
No.
Well, we're not at public comment. We're just at review the agenda.
Yeah, I think it's good.
Okay, and then I'm going to stop the share. And are there any general public comments on any items not on tonight's agenda? Okay, so the next item is secretary's report. And Sarah, did you want to share the screen? I can make you a part, or do you want me to just do it?
No, I don't need to. I can just watch you guys with the minutes.
What you see?
That's not us.
Well, we're gonna remember to
No.
stay. Make sure. Phone.
Okay.
Thank
And-
you.
All right, go ahead.
All right, cool. Okay, so
What just happened?
I don't know, just open it again. Let's just see.
yeah,
Okay.
I updated, oh, that's so weird because I revised it. I'll make sure that the correct one is in there. I added Candace and Paula because I realized I had missed them because they weren't at the beginning of the meeting last time. But otherwise it's not different. But anyway, everything should be fine here. Okay, so we had our roll call, public comments, my report, Candace's report, Laura's report on training and attendance, Paula's report. We spoke about the homeless count. Let's see, we had a conversation about bylaws amendments, agenda items for the next meeting, and that was about it. We adjourned.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
And is there a second?
I second.
Okay, all in favor? Great. Thank you, Sarah.
Next would be me. So essentially, we are at status quo from the board meeting to present about our training. I should say that actually Marco has completed 100% of his training.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I
so
know he was
we're
anxious.
we're not really at status quo. He got everything done. And if it wasn't clear, Betty had also completed her training, but including funding, even though it wasn't clear completely when I made my report
Is
at the
it
board
clear
meeting.
to done now?
Mhm.
It's done.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Yeah. But Show has done nothing and Chris is still.
And Chris hasn't. Okay, I would like to make a recommendation. Before we begin the governing board meeting, that Laura identifies the individuals who are ineligible to participate either in the funding or voting at all. And that would make it easy for Sarah because it was unclear and
Right.
Sarah had to update some of the BACs. So if you could, Laura
Right.
could,
Well, do you want it public or do you want it?
yes, of course it needs to be public because everybody needs to know, first of all,
Yeah.
as a board, we should all know what's going on. And just to be quite honest, the other people who haven't taken their training, they need to feel
Right.
bad about that.
Right. And actually, I amend my amendment because Candace has also taken now her anti-bias. So we still have Ed Saunders who has not taken anti-bias, and I'll talk to him.
Okay.
I think he just got frustrated with Cornerstone completely.
Right,
Okay.
there was those problems, and I actually emailed
Well, this is one of the things
Joy
that's
Atkinson
this is one of the things for the agenda for Saturday.
on February the 2nd, and
Right.
I've had no response.
Well, it's
And
gonna
so
be
where do
some
we go
people-
from there?
We attend on Saturday and bring it up because this is one of the things for Saturday's meeting.
Okay.
And what I'd like to know, Laura, besides funding, we know if someone has not taken the funding,
Yeah.
they can't vote on funding. Can they vote on other items?
Okay, so our bylaws are different than the Dunn rules. So number one.
What supersedes?
Well, at the moment, it doesn't matter because Dunn rules are 6 months. You have 6 months to take all your training, and our rules are 60 days. But the two board members, Show and Chris, who are out of alignment, are both 6 months,
Okay,
not 60 days. So they can't vote, period,
they can't vote on funding
I'm
or
not.
anything
or
else
anything else. And
until
that,
they fix this. And that'll piss Chris off again.
but is that because it's elapsed the 60 days or because it's funding?
It's the 6 months of done.
6
So,
months.
so in other words, Alfonso won't, Alfonso keeps not reading our bylaws. So
Okay.
when he says, no, they can vote on this, but not that, he's not understanding, we say 60 days
Okay,
and they say 6 months. But in this case, they're both 6 months. And technically Ed's 6 months on the anti-bias. So we need to catch him up too.
okay, but can Ed vote? He's 6 months on anti-bias, but he's completed the funding. So my question is, are there certain circumstances where you can vote on some things and other? But the point you're making is that anybody over 6 months, over 60 days,
In our
it
bylaws,
says 60 days, right? I
60
have it.
days.
So over 60 days, it doesn't make a difference what category it is. If you haven't completed the training,
Right.
you can't vote on anything. Is that the way I understand it?
That is what we meant.
Okay,
when
and
we
Sarah,
did
do you concur with that, Sarah?
That's beyond my understanding right at this moment, but it sounds right.
Okay, so the way I think we should proceed,
And
that
is Ed Saunders also like at 6 months?
For his anti-bias, not for he took everything else.
Okay.
But I'm looking for it.
okay. I would just like it to be clear, so when we start a meeting, if anybody has exceeded 60 days, if you haven't taken funding, you can't vote on funding. But if you have exceeded 60 days or lapsed the 60-day
Okay.
period, you can't vote on anything.
Right.
And at what point does somebody get removed, Laura? I mean, now that we're getting into a
Okay,
rabbit hole.
so let me just say, here's our bylaws. It's page 16. And Teresa and I happen to have a hard copy, but on page 16, compliance, section 2, training. All board members must take code of conduct, ethics, and funding training prior to making any motions and voting on funding matters. So that's not anti-bias or any of the other ones they're going to add. And then they must take all other mandatory city-provided trainings. They must take the training within 2 months or 60 days of being seated on the board, blah, 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 blah. So actually, Ed Saunders could vote based on this paragraph, which seems stupid, but we could vote to remove him. If you look at the last sentence. We're not trying to remove him. I'm just calling him out as an, individual. So apparently what we meant was, I don't know what we meant, but what we wrote.
I know we can bring this up, all mandatory training.
Yes, no, here's what it said. The 3 we listed are the ones you have to take before you vote.
And we should have anti-bias because that's also mandated.
I understand. This we may want to re-clarify. This whole paragraph was one of the things we added, frankly, most of it in 2022, but we may want to make it a little more, have more clarity because it doesn't have clarity.
Okay. All board members shall complete all required training within 60 days.
Right, that's clear.
Right.
It doesn't say what.
It says all required training.
But it says all.
And then it says a board member who has not completed either of these trainings or who has not renewed their ethics training every 2 years. See, that's wrong. Renewed all their trainings every 2 years.
Right.
No,
because
shall not be
ethics
eligible.
is the only one that's due every 2 years.
No, funding is every 2 years.
I don't think there are.
Funding is every 2 years. Code of conduct is not.
Okay.
Anti-bias is not. So this sentence
Right.
is less than perfect.
Yeah.
But it does say shall not be eligible to vote. So
Okay, so we'll work on that. So right now,
Ed probably could vote, but Sho and Chris cannot. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe no. The way it says either of those trainings, which does
But
it mean?
it doesn't, because it doesn't say anti-bias. That's why you're saying that he should.
Well, you see, it says either of these 2 trainings. Either of these trainings. Either, you mean all? We didn't mean either. We meant all.
We meant all. Okay. All right.
Okay. So we have some issues with our bylaws, but the intention, our intention was clear.
Okay, I got that message. Okay.
Paula.
I'm in a meeting. I'll send it. Sorry.
Fact is that it's 60 days.
Right.
I mean, it's 6 months. Is it 6 months for Ed?
Done.
I mean,
Well, yeah, July
done.
1.
Okay, so,
Well, actually, really,
right, so
9 months.
All right, so
It's a long
so-
time.
in reality, he's lapsed the done
But
regulation.
they seem not to care. They've given him no notice.
All right.
But we'll have,
Just so for Sarah's sake, we know that there are 2 people who cannot vote.
right. You got that, Sarah, you got that at the moment? Unless they rectify.
Sho and Chris will be,
Show and Chris.
yeah,
Okay.
Should not be voting.
yeah, on anything.
No motion, no seconds, not voting,
Unless,
unless they
what
take,
today's, yeah, between now and the March meeting.
right? Okay.
Oh, I finally found my,
Is there a way to communicate? I know we've already tried. Can we
yeah,
communicate
no,
to them one more time?
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I'm gonna do, Sarah, is I will email both
I'm-
of them, but I'm gonna each of them separately, but I will copy officers this time. So all 5 officers will be copied on the email to Show, and all 5 officers will be copied on the email to Chris. And I'll make it really apologetic. I'm so sorry. I understand the issues with Cornerstone. However, it's well past the 6-month deadline.
Everybody else
and well
is
past.
current.
Well, I'm not gonna say
Yeah.
that. That's shaming. I'm not trying to shame them. Teresa would probably
Yeah.
like me
Yeah,
to shame 'em.
I mean, come on, everybody, listen.
Yeah, come on.
Oh,
You know,
There's problems, but
we just can't resolve the Cornerstone issue
Yeah.
by boycotting Cornerstone. We have to suck it up
and complain to Joy at this meeting.
and complain to Joy at this meeting. So
Okay.
okay, so I will tell, well, Chris has COVID, so
Yeah, they've
for
got
COVID,
what, 2 weeks from this Thursday, so
yeah.
hopefully ample time.
I mean, well, of course, I don't know how badly she feels, but she doesn't have to go out to take the training.
Correct.
Right. And I just also want to make a point that 2 governing board meetings ago, Dolores gave Chris the keys to storage. So Chris also has the key to storage, just she has not returned it. Because she was taking that key because Greg has a secondary key, and she was gonna meet with Greg and try to match up the other key so she could then give both keys to Dolores, who could then give one to the president or vice president. So.
Vice President doesn't want another
Oh, okay. But the point is that right now, Chris has the keys to storage, the one key, and she's supposed to be getting the secondary key from Greg.
Right, and she has COVID, so we're not gonna try and do that exchange.
No, I'm just,
Yeah.
want to make it.
All right. Okay, so it's 7:22, and we're going right past Candace's report and to Paula, who's on the phone.
Okay, so forget about Paul, let's go to the next one.
Maybe Candace.
Oh, it'll be Candace. Well, then let's just jump into our thing, Laura.
Okay, so I'm going back to
Okay, I'm
the,
back.
Okay.
do you have a president's report? Because we're there.
Oh God, wait, I was tearing through everything to find out, wait a minute. I don't really, it's been so much going on. I still want to have a project that we as a board do, and I
Did you get any feedback?
I did. Ed Saunders suggested we have a dog show, and I thought that was interesting. I don't know how we would work that out, but that would be interesting, and we definitely would get the neighbors involved. So that was a suggestion. And what were the others? And then we had, the things that Hunter said, and of course I don't have any of that.
So do you think he meant a dog show or like a dog parade and here's my cutie pie and best costume, that kind of thing?
A dog what?
Well, dog parade.
Yeah, I'm thinking, well, he said dog show. I'm thinking dog parade.
Right.
That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Right, and dress them up.
Maybe receive a ribbon for the best costume or the ugliest dog or the cutest dog or the biggest dog or the smallest dog or
something. Yeah. So that's something that we would have to work out, but he was kind of excited about it, and I was happy to receive his suggestion. He mentioned that at the last governing board meeting as we were leaving.
And then wasn't there another one about?
Well, Hunter had some ideas.
Yeah, what was that idea?
Yeah, Hunter.
He had several ideas.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 3 of them. Wait, I'm looking to see if I can find them.
Maybe we could do a
Oh,
survey,
no, that's tonight's meeting.
top 3
It's January, February.
or something.
And that should have even been in the minutes.
So Paula, here's the trick. Hi, Candace. Candace is arriving.
Okay.
That's not the trick. Here's the trick.
All right.
Any project would be considered an event. So we're learning, even just trying to do this, trying to get approved for our educational series, the CERT, the emergency preparedness sessions. They want every piece of information 30 days in advance, even when you can't. In this case, we don't even know what handouts we're printing, and she wants to have samples of the handouts and the estimated invoices for things we don't know. So any event we're doing, we'd have to have it fully fleshed out with all pre-invoices, not actual invoices, but the pre-invoices and estimates more than 30 days in advance of when we're planning it. And we can't plan anything this fiscal year that won't occur before July 15th. And better before June 15th, but you can do it up to July 15th. I have a feeling unless we settle in on one real fast, at the March governing board, we won't be able to have it fully fleshed out by April, to vote a BAC, to turn it in, to actually do it. So I think a pet parade would be faster than some of the others.
Paula, how many suggestions did you receive?
I have about 4 or 5. I'm trying to find them. I don't even know where they are.
How about you pick
because
up
Hunter had about 3 himself.
And why don't we do, I can create a Google form, we can send it to the board to get feedback on that, and then have the governing say, here you go. This is the one that came back, and you didn't vote, too bad. You didn't vote, so you don't have to say so. And then we pick it, and then we vote at that meeting that we're gonna do this event, and we're gonna move forward.
Right. Because again, it's just a little tricky these days with the clerk.
Yeah. I say if you're really interested in doing one, we have to have it identified and voted on at the March meeting.
Right. And otherwise, what we're talking about would be something in the next fiscal year,
which would have to be revoted,
which we couldn't actually vote on until July.
Right.
Like the dog thing. And the dog, if we do that dog parade, we could do it at Benny Potter Park. We could do do it at the gazebo over there and have, refreshments or whatever we want to do. Get some signs. It's a big park. Everybody bring your dog.
Right. Show off your best friend.
Yeah. And it could work with, maybe Ed could work with Dolores.
Do you want to come in and say hi, Mister? Thank you, Teresa. That'll be wonderful.
Okay. I need to know what they are.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So,
I'll
anything
get that
else
to you.
from
I
the
sure
president's report? Hey, Candace, are you going to be ready to?
Really good. He
walking
around.
Okay. Great grandson joining the meeting.
To do a treasurer's report.
Oh, look at that. Oh, he's so cute. Hold him up again.
Wait a minute. I missed him.
Great grandson, 4 months.
Kind of like a puppy.
Oh, adorable.
Say hi.
Hey. What's his name?
Javon, the second. I call him J2.
Look at that. That's lovely.
All right. Well, we'll see how long he sits quietly in the meeting.
But are you going to log into this meeting?
And Betty, thank you for coming. Thank you for joining us. How wonderful.
Yes, I like to sit in and listen to learn and see what's going on and learn how it's all done.
All right.
Okay.
If you want to jump to SB 411.
Okay. So we're going to jump.
Oh, Herman Johnson's here.
To Candace.
Well, he used to be with Ryan, Isaac Ryan.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what he's talking
Hi, Herman.
about. You don't even know him.
You see the people?
I know.
Good evening.
That's all right. I was just trying, I said hello to you, and I was told, but you don't even know him, which is true. But I'm just saying hello on the Zoom.
So you're here with Isaac Bryan's office. You want to give us an update?
Yeah, I will. I want to first of all say it's good to finally tap in with you guys, and I want to lock arms, and I want us to be connected for the whole year. Initiatives that you guys have going on, and I'll definitely keep you abreast of what we have going on in the district office. But real quick, I'm Herman Jones. I'm Isaac Bryan's one of his senior field representatives, and I represent the southeast portion of the district. And so I go to neighborhood council meetings all the time. I'm from Leimert Park, from the 55th. It's been a hell of a ride being in the assembly. I'm so honored to do it and be able to tap in with folks like yourselves and do work, for the people. The district office, we help folks. So if you have any state related issues that you need assistance with, it's usually EDD, unemployment, disability. We have a liaison. You can call into our office and we'll open a case for you. And we can get folks help. Folks that spent months on the phone, we can have them connected with somebody in 1 to 2 days.
Wonderful.
So so we're a resource at the district office. A little bit about what's going on right now with the member. He's up in Sacramento. This is legislative session. And so we have a very aggressive bill package that we're putting together, about 19 bills. Assembly member Brian just became chair of the Natural Resources Committee.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And he's the treasurer of the California Black Caucus, and he sits on a few other seats. He's passionate about a lot of different things, but social justice, restorative justice, environment, of course. And so I will give you guys my contact information. I'll also give you his social media handles because he's very vocal. When we go to an event, when I staff him at an event, the photos get posted immediately. So he's very, hands-on. And I want you guys to be connected, but I'd like to learn a little bit about you all.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me just tell you, Herman, you've been to this is the executive committee meeting.
Mm-hmm.
You have come to our governing board meeting in the past. So we're happy that you came into our smaller meeting. I'm also happy to hear that Assemblymember Bryan is chairing the natural resources because tree planting, environmental justice regarding trees is something that's very important to our community.
Mm-hmm.
We just hosted, we're part of the urban forestry management plan that's being conducted by the city and the county. CD10 was part of that neighborhood workshop. So that's something that is of interest to us.
Right, and I'm Laura. We have both now new a standalone tree committee. Teresa chairs it, and we have a long-standing environmental committee, which is also interested in climate change and electric vehicles and sustainability, et cetera, et cetera. There's another staffer, and I'm forgetting her name, but we have a lot of stakeholders contacting your office about coyotes, but more specifically about how Caltrans is not clearing the brush on the freeways, which have become the coyote dens. And so to the extent that your office can push and pressure and push and pressure, because there's just coyotes all over. I mean, I know you read the next door and even the newspapers, but it's just so strange to have so many coyotes here in an urban area. So that's one thing. I've noticed.
No, real quick, I just established a contact over at Caltrans. I think regarding this exact issue.
Oh, good.
brush. They didn't say the coyotes. So
Good.
we
Right,
can
I just don't remember the name of the other person who's your colleague who's been responding to.
So what are you gonna do with that contact, Herman? How, do you need us to follow up with that contact, or you're just gonna reach out on our behalf and let them know that the members of our community, all the way down in Jefferson Park, I mean,
Right.
we're up here near the West Adams area, but Jefferson Park is also part of a group, and they're having issues with
Right.
coyotes too.
Yeah, right now, in the last week, the coyotes have been sighted at Montclair and 10th Avenue, more or less.
That's the one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what do you need from us?
I think we need to brush, and then I can give him that list, and
Okay.
then also, if it's okay with them, make a connection so that you guys are connected to him. If you prefer me to be liaison, we could do it like that, but let's make a list.
Whatever is effective at getting Caltrans out to clear the brush.
Okay, let's make a list
It's the
of where.
most effective.
Yeah, let's just make a list of where the sites are, and I can pass that to him.
Okay.
Okay, and who's going to do that?
Well, I think I will ask Michael Salmon and Penny Nixon, who are the people advocating to do it.
We'll get you a list. It'll either come from me or from Laura. This is Teresa. Laura's our vice president, so maybe Laura will reach out to the community members, and she will email you with the areas
Right.
where we're
And
concerned.
do you have Herman's email, or are you
He's
going
going to put it in the chat, right, Herman?
Yep, exactly.
And then I two other things.
and a phone number?
I
Yeah.
got you.
In the governor's budget, I'm going back to the committee, your
Natural resources.
now chairs, yes. The governor has slashed spending for climate change, et cetera. That doesn't seem to be a good idea, even though I know we have to be budget wise. And I also heard that the governor's proposed budget has basically gotten rid of Market Match, which is the program people who have, food needs use to shop at farmers markets for healthy food instead of at liquor stores for potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
So it just seems crazy to slash Market Match. That's not related to his committee, but it is related to the job of representing. Because I see at our farmers markets, a lot of people walk around. They can pay $1 and get $5 worth of food.
Oh, I see.
Health, right? It's called Market Match,
Okay, I get it.
and it's important.
What was the environmental issue in the governor's budget that you had?
He slashed the budget for the environment
For climate.
for climate.
Okay.
I mean, I can't be more specific than that because I only read.
I don't
The
know.
LA Times.
No, if I read only the LA Times, I would not know this. But perhaps I read this in LAist, or I might have read it in the East Sider. I mean, I read a lot of things, but it was not the LA Times that gave me that information.
I'll follow up on that.
Yeah,
Now, were you guys dealing with Michelle Persoff previously?
that's who it was. Yes, that's who it was for the Coyotes.
Okay. How long ago has it been since you talked to her?
I've never talked to her. It's just the people around me. 10 days, maybe.
Oh,
10 days, 2 weeks. No, I mean, I can make a phone call real quick and find out, but it's
no
probably
worries. I just want to make.
not a long time ago.
Okay.
I
I
would
just,
say in the past couple of weeks, they have talked to Laura.
Not to me,
No,
to neighbors.
the neighbors have talked to Laura, letting her know that they have been talking to, is her name Michelle?
Yeah,
To Michelle.
Yeah.
So,
I'm going to see if I might have a date certain.
but 2 weeks is, I think.
Yeah. It was not a long time ago.
does she come to you all's meetings?
No.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm the person that does that. When are your meetings?
First Thursday of every month, except it won't be on July 4th. And I think it won't be on New Year's Day, 2025. I think that's a Thursday as well, but anyway.
Are you guys remote for all meetings?
I didn't hear you, sorry.
He said, "Are our
Are
meetings
you
remote?"
remote for all of your meetings? Or they're in person?
No, we have a hybrid system. That's
Okay.
what we're experiencing now. And that's, we have, the governing board is in person and hybrid, like it is now.
Okay. And then, by the way, I misspoke. The last time, I was copied on an email to Michelle Persoff. That's why I knew the name. But it was, I can't access the email, but apparently it says, my computer says late January.
Okay. Okay. All right. And what are you guys working on, now? Got any events coming up or any strong initiatives that I know you mentioned the Coyotes and Caltrans, but any other initiatives that I should know?
Well, just that we're proud to.
I'm muted.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Something has to mute.
Hey, hang on a second.
Let's close this out and finish up with this now.
It does sound a little cool, Miss Southern, though, right?
Oh, okay.
Space age.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Give us a moment. I'm gonna.
All right.
It's not muted. It says it's muted on this screen, but it's not.
That's not.
Oh, you know what? Mute her here. Mute her.
See? It says mute. I can't mute it anymore than that. You're banned to the other.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
And then
Then you come back. Okay.
All right. Okay. So sorry. I was going to say we're doing set monthly sessions until July on emergency preparedness and CERT training for our community. So we're happy to tell you that. We don't need anybody's support for it because we're partnering with LAFD and Neighborhood Team Program on that. Yeah, what else are we doing? Oh, we just do a lot of land use. That's
Well, we talk land use, I want to talk trees. But
and trees.
Yeah. Trees.
And then many other things.
Nature.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, in other words, at this moment in time, we're trying to figure out what project we might do as a board this term.
Yes.
But we're really, I have to say, to be honest, struggling is not the right word, but we're on this hybrid Zoom situation, but we're still trying to get that magic mix of getting people to come to meetings and or Zoom and get the right technology so that it works well for everybody and it follows what the assembly passed, but what the assembly and Senate or the Senate passed that allows neighborhood councils to do that is way too complicated.
Yeah, and it's too complicated for this guy too.
Yeah, so we're just moving along, trying to get our feet, set evenly. Just as when COVID hit, it was, it started slow with just 100% Zoom. So, and that's that.
And so I want to say thank you very much for coming, Herman. I will say that
Thank you, Herman.
I think that this is an election year for Assembly
It's gonna be a
Member
little bit
Ryan.
longer.
Yeah.
Would that be why you're at our meeting?
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
okay, we'd like to see you come to our governing board meeting more often for all the entire board.
Miss Teresa, let me keep it a buck with you. We ain't gonna have no problem in our election. It popped up on my calendar and I said, no, I'm making an effort to go to all of my neighborhood council meetings more,
Great.
Right, great. We appreciate that. We appreciate that. Thank you. I think that coming to the full governing board, so they also have an opportunity to ask questions we may overlook here would be great.
And see you and meet you and know what it is you're here for. Yes.
My pleasure. And I'm gonna get the member here within the next couple of months. That's my goal.
All right.
Well, we appreciate, maybe not to this meeting, but to the governing board meeting, it would be great. To have him come in.
A first Thursday of the month. Yes.
I'm gonna put it on his scheduler's email right now.
Okay.
Oh, appreciate that. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah. So thank y'all for letting me scoot in and say hey to you. And I'm around. You got my contact information.
And thank you very much for joining us. Laura, did you want to say anything? Laura?
Oh,
'Cause-
well, yes, thank you. I'm sorry, I'm trying to help Candace also log back in.
All right.
Okay.
Meet you. I feel like I know
I'll be
you.
in contact, guys.
All
Good night.
right, we'll see
Okay.
Bye,
you.
Miss Southern,
Thank you.
Miss
Yeah.
Anderson.
Bye.
See y'all later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, now it's time for Candace.
Well, no,
Well,
we're still trying to figure
So you have to
her
let me
out.
in.
Is there anything we could do here to silence her? Laura?
Maybe,
Huh?
maybe. Oh,
No,
did you
you
admit
admit
her?
No, I'm not touching it. I don't have it.
Did you already log out again?
No, it's circling.
There you are. And you're right, I could probably.
There you go.
So I'm hot. It's muted on my side.
It's muted here too. It's muted here.
All I can do is turn the volume down. So I'm not gonna be able to.
Yeah, I would turn your volume off, Candace. See if that helps.
Okay. So you're in,
Mhm.
supposedly muted, but.
But you're not gonna hear me talking from here. It'll probably.
No, just we're gonna hear you
Through here.
through here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
Candace, you're in. And I need to give you the ability to share, however.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh,
Oh, the ringer's coming down. Yes.
okay, you're co-host, you can share it.
Okay.
What are you sharing?
That's a good question. So, I'm gonna be honest, there have been a lot of different emails and I feel like I haven't really had the time to sort out what is what. I signed VACs last week, but I was also gone last week. So I think I signed most of the ones that I don't know if I skipped. I don't think I skipped any, but I signed VACs last week. I tried to do reimbursements only to find out that, Anna does not like Ms. Dolores' receipts because it's not itemized, but that's weird because I've submitted a receipt that looks like hers before. It's basically the little printout and they approved it. So I don't know if,
Because they're lowering the hammer on us.
oh, that's what I'm gonna say. I don't know if
Because
her,
you can't turn in a non-itemized receipt.
so then I just kind of wonder if maybe at the next meeting I have to lay out the rules for what you need to do in order to really be reimbursed for sustenance or what are we calling it, refreshments?
Well, I think, and Paula, I think you should pay attention because you're the one soliciting people to get the meals.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's,
whoever raises their hand and says, I will provide the meal,
Mhm.
they need to call Candace. And if they need the credit card use, they need to call Teresa or me. We need to kind of vet what they're going to buy and explain to them what, if they're putting out their own money, what the invoice, what it has to look like.
right.
So what it has to look like is it needs to say
I have
Pollo
an
Loco,
Yeah,
20 pieces of chicken. I mean, whatever. It has to say something
Huh.
specific.
let me share with y'all what she, no, it's not this.
This is the least of our worries.
I'm sorry, not a lump sum.
Okay, so,
We all get those, Candace, just so you know.
I paused it. I'm trying to find what she said everyone needs, but we can skip that. So I know that we have events coming up and
I'm handling the event issue,
okay.
but what you need to handle are the NPGs.
Okay.
Can we unshare this?
Huh?
Well,
Can we
she's
unshare?
Yeah, we can. It's fine.
okay.
Okay, so I'll say this. Here's where I'm at. I think I get a lot of emails about a lot of different things, and I'm not quite sure what's the thing to submit and what needs to be resubmitted
Okay,
and how it
the-
resubmits. And
So
it's,
quite specifically, she
Yeah.
asked you to resubmit the NPG for ACLA, which is the Architecture Communities.
Okay.
And then she asked again, where is it? We haven't done it yet. So that needs to go in like tonight. And I emailed you too. And it needs to go in with the IRS determination letter. which you have a copy of because
These are all things that I have in a folder.
Mhm.
I just need to resubmit them. That's it.
Right, well, the original submission did not include the IRS determination.
I emailed it to her. So here's the problem.
Yeah,
On the website, you can only submit two things. You can submit the BAC that we have and then the actual document that's requesting money. Anything else you have to email to her.
Okay.
Originally, I emailed that to her. Literally emailed it to her. I don't feel like fighting about it, it's fine. But so all that said, you have to combine all of them in one form. I don't have the PDF to do that. So she has to combine them for me and then upload it to the thing.
so as an issue that we need to address with the city clerk is Acrobat, the company, has changed their protocols on the software. The only Acrobat Pro allows you to combine PDFs,
Right.
but it now is $700 a year.
Can't
It
you
used to be
scan-
something,
can't
so
you
you'd have
scan
to print
Okay, so what
everything
she
out.
and
said
then
was,
scan it into one document?
Yes, but that document, if you're doing it that way, might be too big to email.
5 gigs is a lot. I mean, a 5 something.
No, I'm telling you, like, when I scan, I mean, because this is affecting me at work as well. When you scan, it tends to be, if you're scanning a printed document, it tends to take more digital information than these forms that you get otherwise. So it used to be we could combine the forms.
yeah, you can do it online, but then like even for the Acrobat, so I can sign the documents because the Acrobat that I have lets you do the signing and adjust into a PDF. But she said that I can email her the stuff and she'll combine it. So that's where we landed at our last email that we were having between the two of us. That just send it to me, I'll put it together and I'll upload it. Because then she would send it back to me and I'm like, I can only upload, one thing. So anyway, yes,
Well, what we
I will-
can do for MPGs
Mhm.
is have the applicant
Combine
combine the application with the IRS determination letter. Have them do it for us,
That makes
because it's for them. They're asking for money.
Yeah.
If they have to go to the print depot or somewhere else to do it,
Mhm.
so be it. So you should just make that application rule.
That's good.
Well,
What's the, is the IRS
What's
what?
the other?
Well,
I have other issues
in
on this.
other words, the NPGs require a couple of other documents, and the way, it's just, the city clerk wants a combined single PDF. And it's just harder to do today than it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And what did you call the IRS form is my question.
It's a determination letter, where
Okay.
the IRS has written a letter.
Authorizing you the tax status of a 501c3. So it's
Yeah.
called
Okay.
an
It's
Letter of
called
determination.
it's a letter of determination.
Okay.
And frankly, most of that is online. I mean, in other words, we can find that same information on behalf of some of the applicants,
Yeah.
but it's not doing us any good if it has to be combined with
It
our
has to be
application.
combined.
Yeah. So let them do it.
Right.
I agree with that. They're making the request.
So,
They can do
so on
some of
the
that work.
so on the ACLA one, that has to go now,
I'm doing it.
and not this second, but just now.
Okay.
And then we have two others that are much more problematic.
Yes, and one is Ignite Light, the people came to us in November.
Mhm.
They were asking
Uh-huh.
for the food bank for the Martin Luther King. It was not submitted. So they did not get the funding they needed. And now we can't fund that because it's already passed. So now they have to reissue it. And we have to go back and get reapproval from the board. And it's incredibly frustrating. I just tell you, for me, because we provide them funding every year for Martin Luther
Yes.
King. And for
Yes.
that to have dropped, when, and I know that this is a very difficult job. I understand the learning curve that's with it.
Yeah.
But I really don't care about Dennis and Grace and Dolores getting their money. These are partners that we have, that we support, who need our financial support. And that $1,200 that we were gonna give to them, they used that money and they're without funds now because we did not get that funding to
Right.
them.
So,
And now we have to come up with some new program for them
Right.
to compensate for that.
because, and I went on their website, I don't see anything on their website that we could fund. That doesn't mean Cassandra can't figure something else out, but we're gonna need to put this on the March agenda, a new NPG that we didn't discuss tonight, but we know the dollar amount, so I don't know that we need to, but.
That's right, we don't.
But we need to have it properly written, and then we need to vote on it again as if we never had done the other one.
Right, and we're gonna have to explain to the board, because someone's gonna say, hey, didn't we just give them some money for Martin Luther King?
Right, so we can't do the same BAC or anything, we have to like do
No.
a duo.
No,
And then on Project Hit, the same thing. It's outdated,
Events already happening.
right, but they do ongoing events. I mean, it's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah.
much easier to find another event to pin it
Yeah.
to. So all we're doing is
yes.
hooking it on the code hook. It's just that I think Ignite did Light, they just don't do as many things. They have an ongoing annual something with women's services, so you're gonna have to ask her to fix
To figure out how to do that.
something that we're donating to that is a public purpose and serves our community. And it's gonna not be easy.
So I think Teresa made a good point, and that is on the funding events, our partners, those we want to process first. And of course, we want our board members to be reimbursed or whatever it is that's going on, but we want our partners, we want to put our partners first. And then we can submit our own in-house things.
Okay, I understand that.
And then I'd also like to ask Candace about the rollover funds for the tree planting that Chris Carlson was supposed to do. $2,600, $2,900.
For the tree project?
2,575.
Yeah. And some rollover funds that were carried over. I don't know who, I'm just
I'm
saying
guessing
you should,
Candace,
because you're the treasurer.
but
Tell
she
her
probably doesn't even know.
she has to use that money. If not, we're gonna lose it. They allowed us to carry that over. Remember, there was the
She wasn't
discussion-
on board.
She was here. but
Oh,
that
that's
was-
right, you're right,
So we talked about the tree project where the money was like encumbered or
And
something.
that's right, and they allowed us to.
And then they said they approved it.
Well,
but then I don't.
but we'd have to vote on it again, but we don't think, we'd have to vote a new BAC with this year's funds because they encumbered the funds into this year's budget.
Oh,
I mean, it's
Which is in there, but when I asked Anna about it, she said that it was already set aside for that.
yes.
So then I don't, but then,
Well, first of all, Chris has done nothing.
you had to tell Chris Carlson, she needs to give you the documentation you need so you can submit that. And if she's not gonna do it, then that needs to come to the board, so the board knows that we. have
Well,
this
and it also has to
25%
go to Western Heights. They need to know that their project is squandered.
It's squandered, yes.
I mean,
but-
we're gonna lose the money, they're gonna lose the project.
So,
Well, we have time to fix that.
Not much.
Yeah, okay.
No, not much, because it involves getting permits from Public Works.
Oh,
from street
From
services,
street
which I believe
services.
Chris started, and I don't know what happened with any of that.
Well, I will say the same week that she was started, I put in a request just to test the system. I put in a request for a street tree in front of my house. I put it in through the system. I have yet to hear anything, just by the way.
Well, just so you know, city plants is incredibly backlogged. That's the normal. Now, if you reach out to KYCC, they can come out. To do a tree planting.
I don't even really,
Okay.
no,
you
I
just
can
did-
buy
yeah.
a tree. I just wanted I put in the request for the permit.
Right. Oh,
And
a
I've
permit?
heard nothing.
I need that service request just so I can follow up
Okay.
on that, what happened with that. But I know city plants is
Right.
is
this
the
isn't the same. as-
entity that is doing the
Right.
tree plantings through the city website.
Yeah, no, I first of all, I was testing, and second of all, I want a sycamore. Very specific, because my block has sycamores,
Well,
so I can buy it. I
okay.
have the funds, if I were to even do it, but I need a permit. Can't
Just by way of reminder, it is 8 p.m.
Yes, we know.
okay.
So my point
it's 8
is,
p.m., okay.
my
And
point
so,
is, if on a
what is the
simple-
finalization on this?
my point is, on a simple citizen request to plant a tree. It's taken
It
a
doesn't,
long
I
time.
gave Chris the UFD superintendent to authorize her to plant those trees.
Okay.
She has all of that, and she wants coast live oaks. That bump out that they have cannot accommodate a coast
Correct.
live oak. Plus, there's some underground utilities. She's not gonna get that. So there are other shade trees, so I don't know if that's the delay.
So
So
how
my
are
question
we,
is, what am I
how,
supposed to do?
yeah,
You're
how,
supposed to tell Chris that she needs to get the documentation for you. What she was supposed to do with this $2,500 was to
Uncle Ryan has
remove
it.
the trees that are there and have the stumps removed so it can be
and
prepared,
prepare the soil
prepare the soil for,
for some future trees that are not a part of this money.
that's right.
This is the preparing 9 spaces or 13 spaces, whatever the number is. We have an actual invoice. It's not just the money. There's an invoice, there's a company,
Right.
but they require the permits.
It's already, I'm telling you, there was an email from Anna responding. She sent an email to Stephen Dupree, the superintendent of UF for this zone, who said, yes, they have requested a permit. Because she said, hey, where's the permit? That's why she allowed us to encumber it, because the money, the permits were.
But that was months ago. Where is the
I
permit?
don't know, that's Chris Carlson.
Okay, it's just that Candace, we
So
want
let
you to
me
be the
send
person
an
who nags.
email.
Because if we end up losing the money,
I
No
don't
one's
want,
gonna say
listen,
Chris
I don't
Carlson,
want,
they're gonna be-
I understand
Hi,
that,
Candace.
but I think it's like, there's a lot of flying things around, and so it's just, it's,
okay.
I will email her and
But
I
you've
will
also
ask her
taken
about
a
it.
note in the journal? Yeah. Not just that, you're taking notes?
Yes.
Okay.
She gotta do her job.
I want her to do her job. I do.
All right, okay, so anything else, Candace?
No, that's
Okay.
Right, and because here's the thing, once we get all that money encumbered, by April, we need to know how much money we can still give away. And by May, our May board meeting is the very last time we can vote on any MPG. Because the very last check request,
Just 30 days out.
well, the very last check request is June 1. So we're not gonna have a June board meeting to spend any further money, except for little bits and pieces that could be credit card expenses.
Okay.
So we need to find out if we're gonna be able to spend the MPGs we've already approved in March. We have to find, in other words, we have to, at the March meeting, put all of these on the agenda for revoting.
Okay.
And they then need to be turned in real quick, because we need to know in March by executive, basically, if that money is out the door. And then executive probably needs to make some recommendations to the governing
We
board
will.
for the April meeting.
We're gonna do that based on that project that Paula, so
Right,
we're gonna do that survey. March, the governing board will say, this is the project they wanna do, executive will approve it.
yeah, but we
and
may
then-
have more money than that. We have a lot of money that we aren't spending at this point. So,
All right.
so I mean, it's a good place to be unless it gets to be too much money and we lose it. So. Okay,
So now let's go to SB 4.
SB 411.
So if I remember at the governing board meeting, we approved,
In concept.
and we approved that we would follow the,
Sarah, what, do you happen to have our exact language, what we approved at governing board for SB 411? Oh, where I can.
Yes,
and so what we have to, one of the comments that came up is we have to clarify when someone is absent, when someone chooses to attend on Zoom
Mhm.
and we reach quorum in person, will they be marked as absent?
Well, they will no longer be able to vote, so I think that means they must be absent.
What? Okay,
Okay.
I have our agenda from February 1st with the SB 411. Do you want me to read that?
No, because that's not what we voted.
We need to.
I'm looking at, these are the draft minutes. Let's see where'd it go?
I just have, if fewer than quorum, we can count online attendance and vote. But The reverse of that is we don't say, but if we have quorum, online is considered absent. So for example, now Sarah and I, are we considered absent?
If this was a governing board meeting, because we have quorum with the three of us, well, that's the question.
Well,
These are things that, the reason why we did not approve that language that Laura had there was because these are some questions that the board had. And Michael Kimbrough said, wait a second, when do things move from being an absence? Because if, for instance, if Laura and I are in person and everybody else is on Zoom, then we have quorum, but you guys will not be considered absent, correct?
Right.
Okay, actually, what is present versus absent, the consideration of who's absent has more to do with us keeping attendance than it has to do with SB 411. It's about who can vote. I mean, in other words, our records of absences can be kept differently.
Okay, then we'll in this conversation.
I have the BAC in front. I have the BAC in front of me, and this. So remember, if you guys remember, it basically was punted back to us. The motion was to adopt SB 411 and work out details at the next governing board meeting.
Yes.
So it doesn't even. So we need to basically have a recommendation for them.
Yes, but the problem is, folks, we punted so much of it that we did not adopt a resolution.
Laura, let's decide now what these are. So when we go, we can say here's a resolution.
Well, here's for me, bottom line. Bottom line is our governing board meetings do need to have an in-person component because the SB 411, I said the word component.
Yes, and I have
says that we have to maintain.
I would say the solution for that is that executive committee members have to be present for governing board meetings. That would be, if you're on the executive committee, you have to be present. The other board members can participate.
They can make a choice. It's just that if it turns out for a given meeting, 15 board members make a choice to be in person, then the people who are online are participants, but they're not voting members under SB 411, meaning they cannot make a motion and they cannot vote because the people in the room,
because we have quorum,
or more, because we have quorum, can conduct the business. But since
Sarah has her hand up.
But hang on.
I agree with that.
And but by the way, and that is because we conduct our meetings routinely by allowing anyone who's present, whether they're a board member or not a board member, to participate.
But not to vote.
Not to vote, but to participate in discussions, to ask questions. We don't limit non-members.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sarah?
So am I remembering correctly that earlier in the meeting you said we had to have 6 people to discuss this because Betty has left the meeting?
No, we could not have more than
6 board members because that would be a violation of the Brown Act.
A different piece of it.
Okay, so we're fine. Okay, I want to make sure.
Yeah. Right.
So let me just propose this again, that governing board meetings, that executive board committee members must be in person for governing board meetings.
Unless they're sick.
Yes. But just so if you're going to be on an executive committee, you know that
you got 12 meetings ahead of you in person.
Right. So that way we don't have the problem with one board member being present and everybody else being on Zoom. We know that there'll be a contingent of people who will always be present.
And we also know, based on this newest fact sheet that was sent out by the city attorney, that they said won't change. And do I believe that? I don't. But at the moment, they said it won't change, that we can't have more than 12 people without, in effect, making the people on Zoom participants, but not members at that point.
Okay.
And it's okay.
I don't understand even what
that means. I don't either, but that's what they said.
Okay.
So
I feel like you're making it a little too complicated. Can we all agree, or can I ask for some feedback or a vote that one of the resolutions that we will put forth at the governing board is that executive committee members will be part of the in-person contingent for all board meetings.
Yes.
Are we in agreement with that? Sarah, do you
Yes, I
have?
like that. I
Okay,
like that.
Sarah?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay. And
Okay.
if that is the case, Laura, just if all 5 of us were in person, then all of the other board members,
If they choose.
if they choose, they can participate and vote
Mhm.
on Zoom. They do not have to be in person.
Correct.
But at any point, it exceeds 13 members.
No, it reaches 13.
It reaches 13.
Exceeds 12.
Exceeds 12, reaches 13. They will no longer be able to vote. They
Vote.
can participate.
Well, they cannot make motions.
Yes, they can't vote, make motions.
That's all they can't do.
Okay.
They can participate
Yes.
per usual, ask as many questions, make as many comments, but
And
they
that's
can't.
if 13 show up in person.
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
Or 14, 15,
Mike,
16.
Mike, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So if 13 people are in person, then the ones that are on Zoom cannot make motions or vote.
Correct.
Correct.
But they can still, they can still
Participate.
Raise their hand, ask a question.
influence.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now how are we wording this so we can move on?
I don't know how we're wording it, but we're accepting the terms that were
It's-
presented
it's-
to us by the city attorney.
Right.
Eleven.
Yeah, I'm happy to write something and then confer with you guys when you make up the agenda
Sure.
for the governing board meeting.
Okay.
Oh,
We
okay.
don't technically
Sarah.
have to have something right now, do we?
Right. No, we
No.
don't. You can
No.
always go back and listen to
Right.
YouTube and get the context
Right.
of what we were saying.
Now-
Is there anything else
Yeah.
that we need to have in this?
Well, what we had before was that committees, essentially we're trying to let committees make their own choice. Do they want to be 100% Zoom or do they want to have in-person and Zoom? I'm not sure that comports with what the city attorney said.
What do they say?
I don't know. No, I'm saying, when I say, well, I don't know, in other words, the big question is, can we have committee meetings if the committee itself
Instead of
chooses the
instead of asking, why don't we just say what we want? So we would like to allow committee chairs to determine if they would like to host their meetings in person, not fully in person, Laura?
fully in person, hybrid, or fully Zoom.
We want to give them all 3 options.
I think, yeah, don't you
Yeah.
think? All
I
3
agree.
options?
I don't know. Sarah, what do you think? Oh, Candace, what do you
I
think?
feel like,
Um,
I don't know, I feel like to be equitable, I think they all at least need to be hybrid to allow the community to attend.
Yeah, I think we should always have a digital component to allow the community to participate. We
Yes.
have a Zoom account, everybody can, has access to this computer, even if they don't, or a computer.
Yeah, but what if for a committee, a South Seas House was not available and they said, well, we could meet at Jefferson Park Library. Do we have to, who holds everything?
Well, I think they
That's
would
a
just do a
separate
Zoom.
issue.
They would just do a Zoom.
Okay.
They wouldn't take the equipment. The equipment remains here. You can
Right.
just Zoom.
Okay.
So I think good point, Sarah. I think the next notation on this resolution is that committee members have the option to,
Be hybrid or 100% Zoom?
or 100% Zoom.
And do they need to, what I had put in the thing, but we don't necessarily need to, is that they work that out with executive committee, because technically executive committee sets all agendas. We don't really.
I don't know. Do we want to make sure that power, Paula, falls to executive? Or do we want
Do
them
we
to come
have
to
that now?
executive? No, do we want them to come to executive and say?
Well, they
I'm
have
the
to
chair.
tell somebody what they're doing.
Okay, so we would
Yeah.
like the chairperson of the committee
To let us know.
to let the executive committee know how they're going to conduct their meeting.
Right.
So if I'm
Oh,
recreation,
yes.
I
Yeah.
come and I say, executive, I'm going
Right.
to do all.
Right, because they
Okay.
have to be able to use our regular,
Zoom account and whatnot.
yeah, exactly.
Okay,
they'd still be using the UNNC Zoom account.
yes,
Right.
absolutely.
So, right.
So,
And
Okay.
we are still turning in their agendas for them.
Okay,
So,
Yeah.
okay,
okay.
all right.
And
So
they
anything
can
else?
and they can tell us via what? Email. They don't have to physically attend a meeting, do they?
Oh, no. We don't need to put
Okay.
in our resolution how they tell us.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, or how they collaborate with us. Now,
Okay.
executive is then the question mark.
I
It
just
is
feel
a-
like we have to, like we're doing now.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to make the best effort to,
No,
Or do you
well,
want
no,
us
I
to
understand
also-
that executive can be either hybrid
it's a,
or 100% Zoom. Why I'm saying it that way is we started out as, in effect, 100% Zoom, and then Candace came in and we have quorum in the room. But we didn't have quorum in the room initially, so I wouldn't mind being occasionally, we just have to know in advance. I mean, the problem with executive is, we have applicants, I mean, it probably does have to be hybrid.
yeah, I think we should continue
Right.
being hybrid and, I mean, this, let's move forward the way we're moving forward now. I
Okay,
think it's
fine.
been fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm usually
Yeah.
there, but this works well for me.
I don't think we need to explicitly say executive, the circumstances for executive.
Okay,
Do you feel we need to say that?
no,
No, okay, so we're not gonna say anything,
I'd rather not draw
specific.
attention to us,
okay.
frankly.
Do we think
Well,
there are
and
any?
one could make the argument that under our proposal about committee meetings, that executive satisfies that
Good
Okay.
point.
because we will
Very
be
good.
hybrid or 100% virtual. So.
And then we choose
And then we
hybrid,
choose hybrid.
but
Or maybe we might have to do a thing where we're gonna do a Zoom because everybody's not out of town, but you know what I mean?
sick,
Yeah.
sick,
Yes.
sick.
Okay, is there
Okay.
any other possible circumstance or question that's gonna come up from the board?
Yeah, what came
What?
up from the board wasn't any of this. What came up from the board was, what do you mean executive decides if a meeting's all the way in person or all, I
Okay,
mean,
forget about this.
but,
Okay,
and
it's okay.
what Dunn was saying, what Alfonso was saying is read your bylaws, because it says executive
Sure.
sets all the agendas.
Yes, but
Sure.
Laura, once the committee makes the decision, they're gonna be hybrid or Zoom,
No, I'm
then
saying,
that's how it is while that chairperson.
No,
They
this-
don't have to come to
Yeah.
us every single month and
I
say,
think
oh,
it'll be-
well, this,
no, but we do need the option at governing board, back to governing board, for a special meeting. We do need the option to call a special meeting 100% Zoom.
wait, no one is,
Right.
we don't even need to say that. We
No.
have a meeting, what we have said is that the governing board meetings are gonna be Zoom, going to be hybrid with the.
No, in other words, SB 411 does permit a governing board, oh, I see, you still have to maintain the public space even for a special meeting?
Probably not. We could probably try to have a special meeting, say it's gonna be Zoom. It's still, that provides access for the public to participate. It's a special meeting.
Right.
And then we can and if Dunn has a problem, then we'll deal with it then. But once again, I don't like us making policy based on the exception. So let us just.
Right, it's just because it's easy enough to probably come to South Sea's house for a special meeting, but not Gramercy. It's
Right.
just a
Or just
ordeal.
Zoom.
Or that's what I mean, special meeting, just Zoom, but two of us are here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Or
do not-
both of us are on, everybody's on Zoom.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a special meeting. Okay, anything else, Laura? What else did the board bring up? You said.
Well, the thing that Dolores was bringing up is how come executive gets to decide?
But we're not deciding. They're
Okay.
coming to us and they're saying, I'm the chairperson of
Telling
Recreation
us.
Park, and I would like to do all Zoom.
I think the concern at the meeting was if we had just at this meeting decided something without their input, that would have been a problem. But we're taking our proposal to them at the March meeting and we'll talk about it there. I'm not concerned about it.
Okay.
Me
All right.
either. So
Okay.
let's move on.
So we'll have to figure out how the agenda, the thing that was on the agenda in italics, how it's any
Mhm.
different than what we just decided. I think it's not so different, but that's okay.
I don't
That's
think
okay.
so.
But anyway, bylaws.
Okay, so Laura, Chris Carlson, I guess Paula, you also were on the bylaws committee,
But we did nothing.
but we have not had a meeting. So we are,
Not screwed yet.
What page was that, Laura? You said 19?
Yeah.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
19.
well,
Yeah, and
here's the
on our
thing.
February 1st agenda, we obeyed it.
Huh?
What?
And on our February 1st meeting, bylaws was on the agenda and we obeyed that discussion.
I don't know what that means, obeyed.
We put it off. We delayed it.
Tabled.
We didn't have any discussion. We said that'll be done.
That's fine, and that is because, here, let's go to,
Page 12.
if anybody's got their bylaws from online, they can look, but page 15
Oh, it's 15.
is how to do amendments. So it's complicated, but we're still, if we want to do amendments, we still can. And if, at the bottom of our page 15, it can be proposed by the board, any stakeholders, one officer, or 3 board members, or 10 general stakeholders. We got officers, can make a written request to the executive committee or to the board to amend the bylaws. Then it has to be formalized in writing. That's where we're not yet.
This is so horrible.
I know. Then lodged with the secretary or the person responsible for preparing the agenda for the next, spelled wrong or duly, notice board meeting, placing it on the agenda, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, what we need to do is tonight, if we're really ever going to do bylaw amendments, we have to decide what they are tonight. This is our last chance as officers. Send that to the ad hoc committee. It writes it up, and those writings, the actual language of bylaw adjustments, has to be presented at the March board meeting, then reconsidered at a second board meeting, which would be the April one for final. So and this language sucks, but I don't think, it's just too complicated to even figure out how to change that language, because what was there before was worse for how to do amendments.
So there are 4 items that we knew that we, that definitely, besides this paragraph, which Laura recommends we don't change, except for the spelling,
Just be, yeah.
that we want to address. And
So one of them,
what page is that?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of them has no page number. One of them is that Dunn is suggesting that we and everybody else add the ability to appoint temporary, if somebody needs a leave of absence from the board, but wants to come back, that is somehow then have the ability to temporarily appoint with a limited term basis, a replacement. But if it's a 3-month leave, it'd be a 3-month appointment. And
So
Dunn
an
is the one
exam-
suggesting.
So an example of that would be, I have to take a leave of absence. Donna Jones, as a member of the West Adams Avenues, the board could appoint her to fill in that vacancy while I'm away for 3 months. And then that way there would be representation here. And then when I come back, I could retain my, recover my seat.
Right.
That's what you mean.
Right, and that temporarily appointed person would be required to take all trainings before so it's a short term, but they have to hurry. So it's a bigger deal because they don't have 60 days to take their training.
And another case would be like Paul, or Greg Jackson, who left his seat, but let's just say we needed a temporary person in here. He's already taken the training. And then he could come in and fill in for 3 because he was a recent removed former board member, something like that. So
So
I say we add that. That's fine, Laura.
that's a fine thing to add. Then they're saying on absences that
What page is that, Laura? Section 7.
somewhere between 5 and 11.
Absences on page 7?
Section 7, and it's on page 7.
Okay.
So the issue is that Dunn doesn't like the idea. I mean, I'll tell you Dunn's issues, which may not be our issue. Dunn's issue is that they don't like excused versus unexcused absences. We have an email at some point to that effect. You know, why are you differentiating between excused and unexcused? Well, there's probably a lot of good reasons to differentiate between excused and unexcused, but our bylaws don't define what an excused absence is or who gets to decide what is excused or what is not excused.
So my
Okay.
recommendation to Laura was that the training and attendance falls under the vice presidential responsibilities. The vice president would determine if a person was excused.
Well, yeah, you're saying put in the bylaws
That
that the vice president decides, but the objective standards should be discussed routinely with.
I don't think that, listen, how are
Yeah,
you
I don't
doing
know.
it now if someone is excused?
Well-
If someone takes off for their birthday, is
That's
that
not-
excused?
No.
Okay.
Oh, Paula, by the way, I know your birthday's in May. No, it's not an excused absence.
And
No,
and
it doesn't seem like it should be an excused absence. It could be an absence.
Yes,
how many excused absences are you?
but
Well,
you know,
Okay, what
you have,
Don is, go ahead, Paula.
well, you have some, you know, you're ill, you have a death in family, you have an emergency. Those
You have
things would be.
You have an
excused.
unexpected business trip.
So can I just say this? So for example, at work, you have a list of things, like it says specifically what the things are that you can be absent and what's excused for. So if you have a list of things like Ms. Paula said, like an emergency, you're sick, someone passes away and you have to be gone, like maybe it would be a worthy exercise to just list them. And if they fall outside of that, so then that way it's not subjectively up to the president.
Well, that's what I'm
person.
saying. It should be
So-
objective standards of some
Yeah,
sort.
so you
But
should-
then there's always going to be the,
there's a gray area.
Yes,
right.
there's always going
May
to
I
be.
ask, what is Dunn's recommendation? What do other neighborhood councils do that they appreciate?
They don't like having a difference. What they say is you just have to attend your meetings, and if you can't attend your meetings, you're not doing your job. Not wrong. No. That,
Yeah,
I mean,
That's very rich considering we're all volunteers, but okay.
No, this was some email I got from Thomas or.
Yeah,
Lisa or
Thomas Song
something.
was at that meeting.
Okay, well, the point is, that's not how we do it. So, you know,
But we can do it any way we want because we're making the change.
Sure.
So let's discuss that.
right. Well,
I like
So-
Candace's idea. I think just a list of, I guess my thing is too, how many, because I mean, I'm not going to be at the April meeting. I've already let you guys know that. Do I care if it's excused or unexcused? Not really. I mean, what's anybody going to do about it? This is when Dunn needs to remember that we are volunteers. We don't
Right.
Yeah.
get paid by the city like they do.
okay.
And
Right.
this is where it's like, they need to kind of chill.
Okay, so I will say in this last round that we did in 2022, where Greg, Grace, and I were the committee, we did talk about this quite a bit. And that's how we came up with, if a person's absent more than 3 unexcused times, they can be removed from the board. Doesn't matter if they're 3 together,
Yeah.
3 for a year.
It's reasonable.
3 unexcused.
Reasonable.
But we also said if they're absent for 3 consecutive meetings without differentiating between excused or unexcused, just consecutive, they will also be asked to appear before the board because they're not really representing
Sure.
what they were elected to represent.
Okay.
Sure.
So that seems, so we talked about it, but what we didn't do is describe what's the difference
Okay.
between excused and an unexcused. So that's, I
Okay.
think, where we are now. What's an excused absence and
Okay,
who
so-
decides?
We had an ad hoc committee. Can we have another ad hoc committee?
We do
We
have,
have one, Paula. It's me, you, Chris, and Laura.
but we haven't
Okay.
met.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
Then
we can't now, but we can't make that, we have to make a decision tonight
all right.
to send to the ad hoc committee to write.
Yeah.
So what,
So
so
can
what
we,
is our
can we just-
decision?
Wait, Sarah's saying something.
can we just ask them then to delineate what
Object-
constitutes an excused absence?
Yes, we
Okay.
could, and Teresa's saying, and the vice president decides, or do we say the combination of president and vice? I don't care.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, it's just, I don't know who should decide. I mean,
No, the executive
I'll tell you what I
team.
feel, to be quite honest, if you're within a fiscal year, because I don't know if we should do calendar year or not, but let's just say fiscal year because that's how we
Yes,
manage
fiscal
our.
year.
That if you're absent 3 times within a fiscal year, then you need to be
Sure.
the board. That's it.
Well, you need to be asked to appear.
Okay,
Yeah,
you need to
it's
be
not-
asked to be.
It's not really
Yeah.
easy to move someone.
Yes, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that if 3 absences, it doesn't make a difference if
Right.
what the circumstances are. Because if I'm absent because I'm ill, then I need to say, I'm ill. Can you find a replacement for me while I recover from this illness?
Right, if you're
No.
if you're out that long.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
Yeah.
and then during the year, if you're
Okay.
there every other month, I don't know, but
Well,
yes.
that's already, so we don't need to do anything with that. That actually is already there.
No.
It's
okay.
3
So
consecutive
then
absences.
but the person that is out
Oh.
of
Oh,
out
whoa,
of
whoa, whoa. I'm sorry.
No,
Teresa
okay.
wasn't saying consecutive. She's saying 3 total in a
Yeah.
fiscal year.
I mean, that's my personal, I'm a little more stringent than everybody else, so I don't want to put my opinion on everybody. If you guys want to come up with a list of objective
Well, no, see,
absences.
I do want to have
families.
objective standards,
Okay.
but
yes.
that, I guess the question is, at what point in time is a person not doing their elected job? And that would be, is it 3 times during the course of a fiscal year, or is it 3
Okay.
consecutive, or
Now, this is-
4 times?
This is going to be the ad hoc committee's job. So can we just
Okay.
table this
Yes.
and
Yes.
set up a meeting for the
All right.
ad hoc committee and hash it out rather than
Okay.
to 8:32?
Okay.
All right. There was one. So there was one other that Laura wanted to bring up. Based, this last meeting, and then one time before, but also multiple times here and there over time, we've had a problem with too many abstentions on certain items.
Oh,
And well, no, and the reason, we can't in the bylaws outlaw abstentions, but what we can do and are supposed to do rather regularly, routinely, is select how abstentions are treated.
We're not going down this path again, Laura.
Well, the last time we went down the path was 2019, and it's 20,
I thought it was clear last time that an abstention is a no to the yes.
correct.
And I will just say that Laura is frustrated because last time she had a planning motion that came before the board.
It wasn't the planning motion, it was a different.
It was 1810 Gramercy. It was something to do with that historic house.
No, that wasn't that one. It was,
And there were abstentions. I don't think we should take away someone's right to say no
No.
to the yes.
well,
No,
hang on,
I'm
hang on.
sorry. I think it's totally
Hang on.
unethical to say people cannot abstain. I'm sorry.
Whoa. Did I say that?
no.
Thank you.
No, but we cannot
I-
limit the number. How do you
No.
limit the number of abstentions besides saying people cannot abstain?
No, I didn't say that either. What I
Okay,
Say
so
said
what you're
was-
saying, Laura.
Okay.
No,
what
let
I
her
said-
restate it.
Hang on. One of the things that Dunn has suggested that neighborhood councils take a look at routinely is how are abstentions treated when you vote? Sometimes they're treated as yeses, sometimes they're treated as nos, and sometimes they're just basically not treated at
They
all.
are no to the yes. Yes.
Well, we chose that.
Yes.
UNNC made a choice in 2019, when the last time we took a look at this. We did not look at this in 2022, to treat abstentions as no's, essentially.
Well, no, when I abstain, based on the way we have managed our meetings, I am saying no to your motion, someone's motion.
Then
Yes, I'm not saying
Well, you're
no.
abstaining.
I'm saying no that I'm not supporting that, but I'm not saying no that I don't support that. I don't know if that makes sense.
You're voting
No, that
present.
didn't-
But
Sorry.
right, a person can vote yes, a person can vote no, a person can abstain. But when you vote to abstain on some neighborhood councils, your abstention counts as a yes, because that's how they've set it up in their bylaws. On other neighborhood councils, your abstention is irrelevant, meaning
Right.
if 9
count.
people voted yes or no, the majority, whichever way that majority voted, whether it was yes or no, that's what counts, because the abstentions are just off in another pocket.
Right.
And in our board, when you vote an abstention, it counts as a no because it wasn't a yes.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. It's
And
no
there
to
was,
yes.
and it wasn't a land use item this last time. I just
Okay.
don't remember what it was.
All right.
But I will say, I remain angry
About
about something from 2019, but that, you know,
Okay.
that was an issue that affected me.
Okay.
But I just am noting, maybe this is not a bylaws discussion, but I'm just actually noting a large number of our board members are coming unprepared to the board meetings. They haven't.
That's a part of the problem.
They haven't attended whatever committee it may have been.
Right.
And they also aren't reading the documents,
Right.
and they're not asking questions.
Right.
And then they just abstain.
Well, and
I would not. I
that's
would not
responsible.
assume any of that about abstentions.
Okay.
I would not
please
assume
show-
any of that.
Tell us, Sarah.
I would say sometimes people abstain because they really aren't sure what they
Yes.
would, whether they don't have a set perspective on the issue, and they are not going to just throw their hat in yes or no, which if you want something to pass, I understand it's frustrating that you're not getting the yes, but you should at least be thankful they didn't say an outright no.
Well,
So
it
maybe it's one of
doesn't
those
matter
things
if
where
they
if we're,
If they abstain, they are saying it out. No.
They're not.
I was still
but-
talking.
Yeah.
But if we are, I guess my thing is if you or anybody brings forth motions or things to talk about or whatever that consistently get a lot of abstentions, you need to examine the way you are presenting it or what you are choosing to present. Because I will also tell you, sometimes I abstain because I think it is a ridiculous matter and I just don't want to deal with it. I think we need to move on to other things. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. Because some of this stuff just starts feeling a little, I'm going to use the word, NIMBY-ish. Some of it I am totally interested in personally. Some of it I am not. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. So I think some of it is if you don't want an abstention and you want a firm yes or no, then we probably are going to have to get into deeper conversations about, and be more specific about what we want to talk about. But when we cram in 4 or 5 planning and zoning or any other committee's motions in one meeting, which we haven't had in a while, but for a while we were having a bunch, nobody's going to pay attention after a while.
Yeah, but Sarah, if we have 5 planning and zoning items, it's because we've got 5 deadlines. I mean, it's our job. I know that's not exactly
I
what
know,
we're talking about,
Right, but the point she's making is that
Certain
then you have
point,
consequences of
Right.
that. And if that's the case, then we really need to make the agenda shorter to accommodate that. But I want to go back to the voting to abstain. So if you have a motion and it says you get 5 yeses and you get 6 no's, the abstentions have no relevance.
Exactly, that's
Right,
true.
because I'm voting no to that yes. That's what I'm saying. So, and if the abstentions win, I mean, if the
right, but if you have,
win, but
win, lose, but if you have 8 yeses and you have 4 no's, but then you have 7 abstentions, then that means 7 people, if they had said, wait a minute, I mean, we don't know. I mean, it could be like what Sarah said, I just don't want to be involved. But it could be, I didn't understand. Because they could have said,
Yeah,
wait a
so,
minute.
but then that turns out
Then they
8 yeses.
should have said, but then that person's responsibility is, to raise hand, you know what? I really don't understand. Can you explain this to me before we start voting? That's my concern.
Yeah.
And that may not be, it sounds like we're not adjusting the bylaws, so we're off topic now. But
the
that's
way
the concern.
way to get around that, and I agree with Sarah, sometimes, and it hasn't been lately, sometimes we just have too many things on the agenda. And there are too many, and you're right, sometimes board members don't review the agenda packet, they don't come to the planning and land use or some of the other meetings, so they're just like, I'm just gonna abstain because I really don't know what's happening with this.
Right, because I think this last time it was a CIS, it wasn't planning.
Okay.
The time I'm
Well,
annoyed.
but I do agree. There are those that don't come prepared.
Right.
But there are those that listen to everything and they're really not sure what they want to do. I think, okay, so let's say we had 8 yeses, as you said, 4
Mhm.
no's, and then 7 abstain. That turns out to be 11 no and 8 yes, and that does not pass. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yes, that's correct.
So
That's-
first of all, our board needs to know when you abstain, you're really saying no.
Yes.
Yes, you're saying no to the
That's number
yes.
one.
Well,
But you're not saying no.
But the effect of your vote is a no. They need to know that
Yes.
the effect of their
Yes.
vote. But it's also terribly inappropriate to interrupt the voting to point that out.
Well, just
Because now you're trying to influence everybody else who's voting.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
so
true.
that,
Yeah.
that would be
Oh,
terribly
no.
inappropriate.
I'm just saying, yeah, no, as a part of bylaws or protocol or whatever we want to call it, that's where we have the discussion, not at
Yeah.
any vote. So that everyone
Yeah.
is really clear on what it is they are saying and how they are impacting.
Right.
And I will also say sometimes I think, and this is something where we probably need to encourage people who are not speaking up a lot, because, there are a few of us who talk a lot, and I admit I'm one of them too sometimes. And when we talk a lot, there are others who don't feel like they can talk. But if they are feeling apprehensive about voting yes for something and they just choose to abstain rather than try to massage the motion or amend something, that's, again, this is going to take probably encouraging people to stick their neck out a little bit and say something
Yes.
if they want to
Yes.
modify what's on the floor. But
Yes.
and this is again, if we come in with a huge agenda that people are going to already assume they have to sit through for 2 hours,
Good
they're not
point.
going to want to modify anything and take extra time.
Good
Right.
point.
Okay, so anyway, we're not doing that as a bylaw adjustment. So the other one, moving back to the bylaws, the other one is, there are a couple places where we have in our existing bylaws the need for a supermajority, 2/3, 16, to vote on things. One of them is bylaw amendments. I think that's appropriate. That's a really normal thing for bylaw amendments in any kind of organization, my opinion, but that's norm. That's really normal.
Yeah, I know.
The,
I disagree with
the
that, but-
censure of a board member, removal of a board member, all these things.
Yes, and those are very good points, Laura, but when we cannot get 2/3, and you've seen
Yeah,
for the
no,
past
no,
few months,
I
we
understand.
haven't, that means we cannot move forward. Wonder if we did
Yeah.
have an errant board member, we would not have been able to remove them.
That is correct.
There
Well,
are
I'm
many things we
looking
could not do because we don't have that 2/3, so.
Okay, hang on, I know
Yeah.
that. So the goal of some of that, so on the bylaws amendments, it is page 16,
Okay,
top, does require a 2/3 supermajority. That's the bylaws amendment. Excluding vacant seats. So it's not really the same supermajority.
okay.
So in other words, at the moment, we're short 3, is that right?
Yes, 3 or 4.
So at the moment, we have the board,
So
Maybe
maybe 2/3 of 20.
or 19, because I
Okay.
think Muriel, we keep forgetting who's resigned.
Yeah,
So it'd be 2/3 of 19.
and I have no idea.
Well, it's less than 60.
Okay,
So that one is, so there's that, I mean, they're all across the board is what all across
all right, so,
many, so that's one.
so we're gonna review those, just so
Right,
you guys know. Go ahead.
But the one that seems annoying and stupid, even though we've had it for 20 years, was that it requires 2/3 supermajority to appoint a committee chair or to approve the creation or recreation of a standing committee. That doesn't seem,
No,
yeah,
What
yeah,
page is
I-
that?
under committees.
Oh, okay, don't worry.
I agree.
So that's page 12. So I think we should change that to just a simple majority. I mean, it's not that important of a thing,
Right.
so I think it's page 12.
I mean, it's important to have a committee chair, but yeah, we want
Right.
to get the chairs in there, and we want,
Yeah,
we want to get
Right,
them
because you
started.
because a month later you can get rid of them. I mean, it's not so easy to get rid of a standing committee, but it's kind of, should be really easy to get rid of a chair if they fail to, for example, take the training that's now required, the code of conduct. You know, I mean, if they don't take it, they're gone. So the other one, other place is censure, and it says,
On that page,
I'm finding it,
officers.
removal, I was on maybe page 9. Okay, so page 9, the removal of a board, this is under censure, is 2/3 of currently sitting board members. So it's not a supermajority, it's currently sitting.
Okay, so is there anything in the thing that says, will we have anything that is supermajority?
Well, we don't want to have anything.
I know we don't.
Right, so
we're
here's the
gonna
question,
change-
you guys. We're in agreement that we don't want to have a supermajority required, meaning 16, anywhere. Is that correct? That we just want the maximum 2/3 to be of sitting board members? And under
That's
any
I agree.
circumstance?
Yeah, Sarah, what do you?
Yeah, that sounds
You cut off, Sarah.
that sounds good to me.
Me too.
Okay, and then for committees, it would be just a simple majority of people present,
To establish a new committee.
or
And
to
to-
appoint a
Or
chair.
appoint a chair.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's because we understand,
Well, and yes, we'd have at least 13 people because we'd have to have quorum.
well, we
So
also
13 people.
understand that once a year, we're supposed to be doing it, so even if it's a bad committee chair, we only have that person for maximum another 10 months,
Okay.
11 months, then they're out, even if they're terrible,
Okay. I think
right?
those are
Is
good.
that, I mean, we're in agreement, right?
Yes.
You guys could get rid of me with a simple majority, and then you don't have to have your long agendas, Sarah. Except for John has a bunch of items too, but whatever. Yeah,
You should tell John he has to be on the committee again. I'm kidding.
he is.
I know why he's not.
He is.
You know what I
he
mean,
is.
the governing board.
Committee.
The
He doesn't
governing-
have to sit
left-
through the meetings. I'm teasing
Yeah.
on himself. I'm
Yeah, he
teasing.
left the board, but not the committee.
Right. Okay. So those seem to. Is there anything else in anyone? I don't think so.
No.
So on the
moving.
governing, we gotta go. So the governing board agenda will unfortunately have a lot of agendas because we're gonna have all these funding items.
Okay, then what else do we
redux.
have to have?
I don't know.
Okay, well. then-
Well, bylaw. Wait. Everything that's on tonight's agenda.
Yes, but-
plus the funding
But
items.
maybe it can be presented in a really concise way.
Well, the
Take a few
bylaws can be,
questions.
what we'll do for the agenda on the bylaws, we have to have them finished a week in advance. We'll put them at the back end of the agenda. We'll include the
Okay.
writing in the agenda.
There's a format we have to use.
And the form will have to, but the form,
We have to write it, we have to.
yeah, but that we don't have to have on the
Okay.
agenda. I'm saying the actual words.
Okay.
These 4 items, but asterisk page 10 or
Okay,
whatever.
all right.
So that it's
And then the
included in
SB,
the
and the
agenda.
SB 41, Sarah's gonna, 411's gonna give us that, so.
So that'll be on the agenda as
But that can
well.
go very smoothly. No, honest to God.
SB, yeah, I
SB
agree. The proposals are already in your email. As we talked about, they're not polished, but the rough stuff is.
All right.
And Paula, if I can make a suggestion,
Yeah.
I know that you're the president and you oversee the whole meeting, but maybe there are items, like for instance, this SB 411, maybe Sarah could present that to the board and say, here are the things, and allow discussion, and then take the vote, or something to take it away from the, all of the opinions and hand raising. If it's presented, something that's really important, maybe if Sarah presents it in this case, then everybody's gonna listen to it, hear a different perspective or the perspective, and then call for the vote. I don't know, just an idea, so we don't get dragged into,
Right.
you know.
I think we kind of do it that way, but yes, it can be done officially. On this item, so-and-so is going to present, and then go and have, sorry,
Right.
Sarah, you're not a so-and-so, and have Sarah present.
And then also, yeah, and like with
And
the
then
bylaws.
come back to me to call for the vote.
Yes, okay, that's fine. And then like for the bylaws, I'll do the bylaws, the ad hoc committee, I will do the bylaws, very concise. These are the exact things we changed. This is
Okay.
why we're asking for this.
Yeah,
Take a couple of questions and then call for the vote.
Right.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
it's-
Let's not drag it on. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Right, so, and at the April meeting for bylaws, that's where we would have retyped it.
Okay.
But for the March meeting, we just type the things,
Okay, that's fine.
right? And then April, we insert them in the right
Right.
places.
Okay.
Okay.
And actually, maybe I can start working on the agenda now, and we can start formalizing it in advance.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, yeah. Yeah, we're
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Okay, so we have no committee reports, we have no old business. I'm not looking at the agenda again, we can
You have it
adjourn.
memorized.
I do. Well, this is a pretty standard one.
Okay, all right, great meeting, everybody. Thank you guys very much. Oh, sorry,
Thanks.
Laura, I just don't.
No,
Thank
that's
you.
okay. And we're officially